My name's Simon McCallum. I'm Archive Projects Curator at the BFI, and we're partnering on StoryTrails, which is the UK's largest immersive storytelling project and one of 10 commissioned projects for UNBOXED, a celebration of creativity happening across 2022. Archive footage from the BFI and partner national and regional archives is woven throughout augmented reality trails, virtual reality experiences and incredible spatial maps touring UK libraries this summer. All of this is helping to uncover and resurface stories that haven't been told for many decades, if at all. The research and development work on StoryTrails really wouldn't have been possible without resources like BFI Players Britain on Film, which provided the creatives and partners on the project an accessible, geo-tagged gateway into BFI and partner archive collections.
Having a dedicated BFI curatorial team working on this project really supported a constant dialogue between the creators' research and the archive. The benefits came from marrying our deeper knowledge of the BFI archive with the creatives' deeper historical knowledge of their hometowns, and the end result was really unique.
Over 2,000 titles from BFI National Archive collections were used in the research and development phase of StoryTrails, and some of the key collections we drew on for this included Mitchell and Kenyon, the incredible films of Edwardian Britain, Central Office of Information, the government-sponsored films, the British transport films, beautiful travelogues around Britain, and things like the topical budget newsreel, which was an incredible record of life in Britain up to the end of the 1920s, as well as some of our third-party owned collections such as ITV. So it's a really rich cross-section of work that we preserve for the nation. In recent years, we've been working really hard to digitise more and more of our vast collections, but we're always looking for new ways of expanding access to and understanding of our film heritage. And StoryTrails really allows us to take the BFI National Archive into the immersive generation on a scale we've never really seen before.
Climb back on board for a short hop to 1901 and find out how this cunning couple took control of their fate.
I started back in November 2021, and I came on board to help the creatives start refining their archive search and solidify their final story choices. So for Bradford, Hafsa Naif comes from a really creative filmmaking background, and her intent was to find a piece of archive that people could really connect with emotionally and really bring it to life. The piece of archive that perfectly encapsulated this for Hafsa was The Bradford Godfather, which incorporated the love of cinema and showed the diverse community.
It was wonderful for me to work with The Bradford Godfather in that way, to pull out that intersectionality a little bit and to introduce people to the community again, but through film.
We are making an Asian feature film.
Because the South Asian experience in Bradford, as the trail encourages you to experience, is all about how did that early community actually find cinema and film as community building experiences. So before any community centre or before any masjid or temple, it was the cinema space that provided that social context for this new community to bond and to express who they are. And it was through film and cinema. And I just thought, wow, what a story.
For Dundee, we were working with filmmaker Duncan Cowles, and his interview research on this project was actually really valuable for us at the BFI because we found out a little bit of local history and a little bit of local knowledge, as the person that his trail is about, Olympian Dick Taggart, was actually an extra in the background of one of the pieces of archive we sent him.
There's a bit where, I think it's in this clip, where he's playing in the bins with his brothers, and it just looks like a child playing in the bins, but we later found out that was actually, by chance, a young, 5-year-old Dick McTaggart. And it gives you such an insight into, tenement life in Dundee at that time, because you didn't even have, proper toilet facilities and stuff like that. It was actually a lot more grim. The emotion that's contained within archive can really kind of change a feeling of a film or the tone of a film.
And for Swindon, it was really enjoyable talking to director Will Hewitt about his really cinematic and creative take on the public information film Men on the Mend.
I was basically looking for a story based around this idea that our modern NHS, the infrastructure for our modern NHS, was born out of GWR in Swindon. So they basically created a healthcare service by docking weekly wages from the workers that went into a medical fund, which built a hospital, which basically kept people healthy, which kept them working. One of the things that kind of blew me away is the cinematography of, I think, the second shot in the film. They'd actually mounted the camera on the traversing crane that goes up and down the factory. And then they'd choreograph these men to run along the bottom of it. And it was just like absolutely sensational shot. And I was like, that has to be in.
StoryTrails is a really exciting step forward for us because it demonstrates that archive is something that's alive and accessible and something that can really inspire creativity in our young filmmakers, in our tech innovators, and in storytellers for the future.